Greetings, y'all. You are vibing with Val Jones, the poetic hip-hop eldris, and it's about 3:30 in the morning. Wow, 3:30 in the morning. And I'm actually up here doing some commercials, but this vibe all of a sudden hit me to do a poetry 101 class, so to speak, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the ancestors commanding me, demanding me to deliver a message. I mean, obviously something's going on. 3:30 in the morning that I decided to make this video, and I'm trying to find the right words to say, the delicate way to say it, to my spoken word and poetry family. How should I put it? Some of you suck. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. I mean, some of you are really, to me, you're like Waka Flocka poets. You're just not good. And what's sad is that you've got the delusion or illusion that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread, and really you're more like month-old cornbread, dry and stale and tasteless. And and don't get me wrong, I am not knocking your freedom of expression, not at all, not at all. What I am questioning is your quality of it and your egos, because your egos got you driving yourself into this frenzy that you are all of that, and at the same time it's got you fearful of those you could learn from. Don't lie to yourself, because you know you are. I've seen so much insecurity in the poetry and the spoken word community right now. It's just like, it's mind-blowing. It's stupid. It's senseless, because I have never ran into a poet that was so good that I was afraid of. In fact, if anything, I was like, wow, that inspired me to want to do more, do better. But too many of you today seem to, when you run up against somebody that you feel like might be the equivalent of you, or God forbid, even better, you got to shut down on them. You got to shut them out and shut down on them, because after all eyes must be on you, right? But the thing about it is, when you get all those eyes on you, to the trained eye and to those who know, you still fail to come across like you need to come across. So maybe instead of being fearful of those who may be better than you, maybe you should learn from them and get better. Maybe some of you need to pick up a book. See, and I'm saying this, you might say, well, who is she to be talking? Well, I'm older than you, number one, and I've been doing poetry longer than some of you all have even been on the freaking planet. And my, level of poetry or my basis of poetry didn't start with Mos Def and Jill Scott. It went far beyond. And I'm not knocking Mos and Jill. I love them. But it didn't start, poetry didn't start, spoken word didn't start with them. Go back to the last poets. Go back to Gil Scott-Heron. Go back further as far as poetry with Langston Hughes, Claude McKay, Paul Laurence Dunbar, Gwendolyn Brooks, Sonia Sanchez, Amiri Baraka, Nikki Giovanni. Oh, we could go on and on and on. I know many of these names are unfamiliar with you because, you're so busy reading your own books, but not the books of the pioneers or the elders. You speak of pioneers and legends, but you don't have a clue who they are because you think you are a pioneer and a legend. And sad to say, you're not. Sadder to say that for these babies coming up, you could be. But again, you're kind of like the Waka Flocka of the poetry world. So, I mean, wouldn't you much rather be like the Chuck D's of poetry? Wouldn't you rather be like the Nina Simone? Well, you don't even know who Nina Simone is, but let's see, who else? I mean, the Queen Latifahs or the MC Lights of poetry. I mean, don't you want to be better? I don't know. Maybe you're happy being where you are at that certain level, and you think that, this is good enough for you. The thing about it, though, is that you're going to run into a glass ceiling. You are failing to impress those who could take you higher. And therefore, where you are is all you're ever going to be. And if that's good enough for you, then konnichiwa with that. But if you want to do better, then maybe you need to learn better, be better. And with that, like I said, Poetry 101 class, and being that I am a poet, or maybe not, more so a gill, I do have a poem I'd like to share, and it's called Definition of a Poet. Go ahead, let the hate come now. Definition of a poet. How shall I bestow it upon those who don't read? Exclamation just for emphasis to babies who think they invented this. Some of us been doing this before you were born, and yet you think that today you spit the world's greatest poem that's ever been. Come again. Read a book. Know your history. Take a look outside your own ego. Kings and queens could eat your ass and your prose for dinner. Don't you know there is no winner when our elders are tiring? Our culture is disintegrating, and you are too busy ingratiating your own ego. Want truth? First find your own soul. But then again, what do I know? Well, I know good stuff when I hear it, and when I don't. Take this to heart, but I know most probably won't, because definition is more than a 4-letter word, and many don't read, they just spit what they heard. So to fully understand the definition of a poet requires more than elementary knowledge. Not saying you have to go to college, but reading is fundamental. So consider this an open book test where a pad and pencil is required, and so is the third eye. Think you can pass the test, then try harder. And the test begins now, and I am your teacher, trying hard to find the curve in your so-called spoken word and not give you an F. Do better.